Welcome back everybody, I hope you're having a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day today because we're reading some more Am I the A-hole? And I hope you're excited. Not gonna waste any time, let's get straight into it. Enjoy guys. Am I the a-hole for quote-unquote poisoning my housemate who ate my food without my permission and ended up in the ER? I, 19 male, recently moved into a shared place and there's someone who keeps stealing my food. At first I thought it was just a mistake, but even my leftovers were being eaten. It was very clear that the person was doing it on purpose. I spoke to my housemates about how I would just prefer to be asked first, but they were nonchalant about it and nobody admitted to doing it, and I haven't caught anybody in the act, so I just tried to ignore it, as it only happened every couple of days or so. A few days ago I came home from work with a carton of eggs that I found while dumpster diving and some bread. I wanted to give the eggs the water test first before eating them just to make sure that they were safe to consume, but I was too tired and I went to bed early without eating. The next day I found out that one of my housemates got so sick he ended up having to go to the emergency room. My eggs were not in the fridge where I left them, but I saw the carton and the shells in the trash and my bread was opened. I had a hunch that it was him because there was a possibility that the eggs had gone bad, but I was also annoyed at the fact that he'd helped himself to my food without asking. When he came back, I asked him if he'd eaten my eggs and my bread, but he denied. I then said, okay, but I hope whoever ate them doesn't get as sick as you did, because I found the eggs in a dumpster. His face immediately dropped and he looked visibly uncomfortable. He got angry and he went from saying that he may have consumed the food by mistake, as he wasn't paying attention and doesn't exactly remember, and was accusing me of poisoning him. He said it's a health hazard to bring such food into a communal space without warning everyone first, as it's not uncommon for people in shared places to eat others' food by mistake. He hasn't spoken to me since, and my housemates are siding with him and called me disgusting for doing that. A part of me feels like I was wrong because they were my eggs, but I wasn't fully intending on eating, and I didn't think I had to warn people against eating food that didn't belong to them, but I also do feel bad and guilty that he got sick. So Reddit, please tell me if I was in the wrong. No, you're not in the wrong. The other person is trying to act like they're doing this by mistake, but they're obviously not doing it by mistake. But also, don't dumpster dive for eggs. Are you joking? Edit, I want to clarify because I see comments that are suggesting that I may have done it on purpose. I didn't. I've been dumpster diving for some of my food recently, so I was fully intending on eating it, just like I have been eating the food that I've been finding while dumpster diving. I try to exercise caution and thankfully it hasn't made me sick yet, but had he not eaten it, I was probably going to end up in the ER because I was obviously going to eat it. I didn't randomly do it just to try and bait and catch whoever has been eating my food. Food poisoning is no joke. As I said, I just moved recently and I'm trying to get on my feet. I also understand that although I make sure to wipe my food first, ultimately it is gross to put food that came from a dumpster in a communal fridge or pantry, and I won't continue to do so. I'll just put it in my room from now on. Yeah, like obviously they shouldn't be eating your food, but also if the eggs were bad, how did they even eat them? Eggs smell revolting if they go bad. How did they not realize there was something up? So yeah, I don't feel like you're in the wrong here, but also I'm sure that you could find a whole bunch of different types of foods that would be okay, but God, surely avoid eggs in the future. And also, to be fair, I can see why people are saying that they did this on purpose, because you're getting something that's notorious for going bad and being disgusting, eggs that is, out of a dumpster. Yeah, I don't know, I'm sort of confused, but if you're saying that you weren't doing it on purpose, then yeah, ultimately they shouldn't be stealing your food because it's not a mistake like they said it is. Like, oh, I keep accidentally eating all of your food every few days. That's not a mistake or an accident. The next one is called, Am I the a-hole for telling my son that he'll pay me back for the cheese and meat, or he won't be eating at Thanksgiving tomorrow? I'll keep this one short. Every year we have a charcuterie board before Thanksgiving meal at 6. Just something that everybody can pick at so they're not dying of hunger by dinner time. My son, 16, loves cheese, and due to this I make sure to label when he can't eat something. I labeled all the Thanksgiving stuff don't eat. Well, yesterday he went and ate all the fancy meats and basically ate from each block that I bought. I truly was pissed since I worked extra hours to pay for it since the prices are awful now for a nice cheese. I told him he needs to go to the store and replace all of it, which would cost him around $70. One of the cheeses he ate was $18, or he doesn't get to eat the Thanksgiving meal. He's refusing to pay for it back, so no Thanksgiving meal. He'll eat a sandwich, and he thinks I'm being a horrible jerk. My husband is on his side and doesn't understand why I'm so pissed about it. Edit, thank you, I made up my mind. I already informed my mother-in-law of the situation. She offered to bring a nice cheese board if he still refuses. I'm giving him one last chance. He can buy it, not get Thanksgiving Thanksgiving tomorrow or work for 11 hours to make up the money. I like that idea from a Redditor. I have a feeling he won't do either of the options given, so probably no Thanksgiving and my relatives will understand. Oh yeah, you're definitely not the a-hole, and also why does your husband not understand it from your point of view? It's super easy to understand. I feel like it's a super simple one of, oh, these are the consequences of my actions. Like, you told them what was going to happen and you told them what they couldn't eat and they still ate it anyway. Of course, they need to learn that they can't do stuff like that. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole, your son is, and to a certain extent so is your husband. Why would he do this? He knows it was for the big meal and it was labelled as such. Stick to your guns. No Thanksgiving dinner for him. And tell him he still owes you for the cheese and the meats that he ate. Yeah, definitely. You told them they can't eat it and then they go and eat it. And what, you're just supposed to be okay with that? Definitely not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my pregnant friend that her kid was going to get bullied for the name she plans on using? One of my friends found out she was pregnant a few months ago and she's really excited to be a mother. I'm so happy for her and I think she'd make a great mum. But there's one problem. She wants her baby's name to be unique and special, but the way she's going about it is terrible. What I mean is the name she plans on using is god awful. If it's a boy, she's going to name him Danger, Daynger. Yeah, spelt like that to be unique. And if it's a girl, she's going to name her Tinkerbell. I wish I was joking. I asked her if she was 100% sure, and I suggested that if she was dead set on those names, to make them the kid's middle name. When she asked why, I told her flat out that the child would get bullied if she named them that. I know just how crappy kids can be. I got bullied for my name and I changed it when I was 19. She got really upset and told me I was being unsupportive and I was a crappy friend. She's been ignoring my texts ever since, and it's been more than a week. I'm starting to feel kinda guilty over what I said. No, you're not a crappy friend, you're a good friend. Am I the a-hole? Update, we had a conversation over a call. I decided to tell her about my experience getting bullied for years because of my name, Shaylee called Gailey, and it turns out she's been going through a lot. Birth complications run in her family and she's been really stressed out about it, along with finding out that her boyfriend, now ex of 3 years, has been exchanging dirty text messages with a co-worker of his. I had no idea about this and she expressed regret for taking out her feelings on me. I carefully brought up some of your points and I suggested using the name Belle for a girl with Tinkerbell as a nickname. She does think it's cute and she likes the idea. I also mentioned maybe using Dane as a first name with Danger as a nickname, which she wasn't quite as happy about. She did decide to use Danger, still spelt like that, but as a middle name, which isn't nearly as bad as using it for a first name. On the bright side, the kid can tell people Danger is my middle name. Thank you all for your advice, everybody. I really appreciate your help and suggestions. Right, so there is no a-hole in this situation. You 100% were not being a bad friend by saying that, but also your friend has been going through a lot and they said they didn't mean to take it out on you. So yeah, it sounds like everything's okay now. I love when this happens. That's such a nice end to the post, and I feel like you did the right thing for telling your friend what you did. You weren't doing it in a mean way or anything. Am I the a-hole for giving my granddaughter a DNA test? This one's about my granddaughter Lindsay. Now, Lindsay, 15, has it rough being middle child and she looks different from her other siblings. I truly was confused how she had blonde curly hair while the rest of the family has dark hair. I thought genetics was being weird and I love her. The issue came up when Lindsay told me her parents banned her from getting an ancestry test. I told my son and daughter-in-law that there was something fishy around her birth that she needs to know. They denied it and they told me to leave it alone. Now Lindsay is in high school and she went to a biology teacher. To put it bluntly, the teacher said that it was odd for her to have some traits. She came to me distressed, asking me to buy a DNA test since she needs to know. Long story short, she's not her mother's kid. My son got someone else pregnant and her biological mum gave her up. This has blown up the family while Lindsay is pissed to being lied to. I'm getting a ton of heat for getting her a DNA test. Now they won't talk to me, which is making Lindsay even more mad at them. Edit, because I've answered this multiple times. They were on the other side of the country when she was born, and I met Lindsay when she was about 6 months old. Really not hard to hide the whole thing. Edit 2, I'm confused why a lot of Redditors are treating this like she's 5 and not 15. All I did was buy it. She did all the paperwork and shipped it. It's not hard. No, you're not the a-hole. Lindsay would have done this no matter what. Lindsay obviously had a pretty good idea. They were going to do this anyway. Like this comment says, not the a-hole. Lindsay already knew. The only part that she didn't know was which parent was hers biologically. Lindsay isn't dumb. She was going to find out, or she was going to continue to get lied to for 3 more years. Your son is trying to deflect the blame onto you because he's angry that he got caught lying to his kid and to his parent. Yeah, it really does seem like that. The top comment says, not the a-hole. Your son and his wife suck for lying to her until she's 15 and trying to keep lying to her even after she obviously started to question things. There are medical reasons a person might need need to know what their genetics are or are not, and if you hadn't have helped her, she would have found out some other way. At least this way she knows that she has one friend and ally who'll be honest with her, take care of each other during this difficult time. Yeah, definitely. They should have been honest with them a long time ago. And also, the moment they started talking about it and having suspicions about it, that's also when they should have been honest with them about it. But no, they were planning to keep on lying to them. Yeah, no, you're not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for not changing my dog's name when my new neighbor's child had the same name? I feel like we don't even need to read this. No, you're not the a-hole. I, 36 male, am the owner of a Great Pyrenees/Australian cattle dog mix named Charlotte, 6 female. I live in a lower middle class suburb in an unspecified United State. I have lived here for about 6 years now, and I let Charlotte out to go potty roughly 6 times a day. It's always the same routine. I open the back door, Charlotte runs outside to pee and patrol the yard, and doesn't typically come back bounding back to the door until I poke my head out and call her name. About a week or two ago, maybe longer if I didn't notice, new neighbors moved in across my back alley. I had no intentions of interacting with them whatsoever, like ever, except today when I was executing the last step of Charlotte's aforementioned potty protocol. I stuck my head out and I called her name, but this time alongside the familiar sounds of my dog galloping up the porch steps was an adult human voice shouting something along the lines of, "Why are you calling my daughter?" At first I thought it might just be my new neighbors getting into a spat, until a couple of minutes later I heard pounding on my front door. I opened the door to an angry man twice my size glaring me down. He said something like, "Why the F are you calling my daughter into your house?" And I responded, "Your daughter's name is Charlotte?" And he just kind of kept glaring at me. In absence of a response, I followed up with, "Charlotte is my dog's name, dude." And he rolled his eyes at me and said I better change my dog's name because he doesn't want his daughter, 2 female, getting confused and running into my house. I told him that's not going to happen because not only did my dog have the name first, we also lived here first. Also, I don't like strangers making demands of me before even attempting to be polite. What I didn't say but really wanted to is that teaching his child stranger danger is his responsibility, not mine. He called me stupid and said that a human child obviously has priority over a dog for a name. I shut the door in his face and he stared at me through the peephole for a moment before he eventually walked back to his house. This last potty break, I went out with Charlotte and I stayed in the yard with her until she finished her business, but this guy just kind of stood in his yard with his arms crossed and glared at me the entire time. This guy has the audacity to think that everybody else should change their name because their daughter has the same name. Like, what, are you going to do that in every situation where you meet somebody who's a Charlotte or a dog who's a Charlotte? What the hell's wrong with people? For real? That's so unbelievably frustrating. And what, it's your job to make sure that their kid's okay, and you should change your dog's name because their kid has the same name? Like, the audacity to even say something like this. And it's so infuriating that they're upset about it and they think they're still right about this. The fact that they don't realize how stupid they're being is so annoying. And 100%, like this comment says, not the a-hole, double down, get another dog and name it his wife's name. Yeah, please, that would be so funny. I can't believe they're upset at you about this. Yeah, this one is the most obvious not the a-hole ever. The neighbor's out of their mind. Oh yes, every other person should work around me and the universe revolves around me, and everybody else should change their life to make my life easier. Like, no, this is your responsibility to be a parent, not for everybody else to change the names of their pets and stuff. So ridiculous. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my stepdaughter's college? My 48 male stepdaughter Hannah, 18 female, is going to attend college. I've known her for around 4 years since I married her mother. The issue though is that we've never gotten along well. I have tried, but she always says that she doesn't like me and wants her real dad. When I try to tell her stuff or scold her for behaving out of order, she'd say, "You're not my father, you're just some stranger." My wife Emily asked her to behave properly as well, but she doesn't care to listen, and in the end she stopped telling her as well. I had to pick Hannah up at school once, and when a couple of people who didn't know I was her stepdad asked who I was, she said, "Oh, he's a servant," in front of my face. I was extremely mad at that, and it even resulted in a huge argument, although she played it off as a joke. But this was the last straw, and that happened a few months back, and after that I've always treated her as if she's invisible and barely had any interactions with her unless absolutely necessary. Well, she talked to me presently and said that she's got to apply to college and wants me to pay her fees. I refused, and I asked her to ask her real dad, who refused to pay for it himself. She began to protest and said I'm affecting her education and that I can't do that, but I did not relent, and I said she's not my business now. My wife says that refusing to pay is wrong and that I overreacted even though she's not being nice to me. Am I the a-hole? Is that a joke? I feel like you've underreacted. You haven't overreacted about a bloody thing. They called you their servant. Like the top comment says, not the a-hole. Tell her you can't afford it on your servant wages. Seriously, her two birth parents have had 18 years to save up for her college education. You've had 4 years of putting up with her rudeness with no backup or support from your wife, her mother, and she has the temerity to speak to you now that she wants your money. Now she can have 4 years of missing out on her dream college and think over how treating someone as less than human isn't a good life strategy. Yeah, and like the comment under it says, I feel that don't bite the hand that feeds you is kind of fitting in this case. It's plain stupidity to be rude for 4 years and then suddenly expect someone will be happy to throw money at you. Yeah, no, you're 100% not the a-hole, and your wife is way out of line as well. Like saying that you overreacted. You have a stepdaughter that's treating you awfully, and what, you're expected to pay for their college? Get out of here with that. You don't have to do anything, and the audacity that they even expect you to. Ugh, nah, that's so bad. Icky, gross, yuck even. Am I the a-hole for pointing out that my mum doesn't have custody of us while sitting at the Thanksgiving table? The title makes me sound like I ruined the day on purpose, but I promise I didn't. I just didn't know how else to put it, I guess. Anyway, me, 17 male, and my little brother James, 9 male, live with our older sister Eva, 26 female. James and I were removed from our mum when I was 10, and Eva did everything she could to keep my brother and I out of the system. I think it was because she was worried that we'd be separated, and I know she was in foster care for a little bit when she was younger too, so I guess that was another reason she didn't want us to go in. She has guardianship of us now, and the adoption process is already going through. So today we're having a family dinner at a relative's house, and some people from our mum's side of the family, aunt, uncles, cousins, etc., were there with us. My aunt ended up making kind of a big deal out of the fact that Eva had me and James help with some of the prep for dinner. She ended up saying something like, you shouldn't be bossing them around. They're not your kids and you're not their mother. Before anyone could even respond, I said, well, we haven't been your sister's kids for like 7 years now, so who do you think was doing her job instead? My aunt got mad, and then eventually everyone was arguing. So yeah, dinner was ruined. A few of my cousins even texted me afterwards and said so, and pretty much everyone ended up going home. Eva told me that it's not my responsibility to defend her. Then she said she was sorry for the situation with her aunt. I feel bad because I made Eva feel bad, and because according to most of our family, I ruined the occasion with what I said. They think it wasn't the place or time for me to bring up my mother's situation, even if it was just in response to what my aunt was saying. I didn't mean to ruin dinner or anything, but if I was out of line, then I'll apologize. I'm just posting because I want to get some unbiased perspectives. Edit to add, I saw a few people ask me why no one in my mum's family helped my sister out when she was 19 and suddenly responsible for 2 kids, and honestly, I don't know. Even when Eva was a kid and she was taken from her mum temporarily, our relatives were given the option to keep her out of a foster home and to let her stay with them, but none of them took her in. Yeah, no, once again, you're not the a-hole. Your aunt started this. You shouldn't be blamed for it. The top comment says, not the a-hole. Your aunt was out of line to comment on what your sister asked you to do, and then she couldn't handle the truth when you spoke up. Too bad for her. Your sister is right that it wasn't your responsibility to defend her, but it was the right and honorable thing to do in my opinion. Congrats on your impending adoption. Your sister sounds like a gem. Yeah, definitely the aunt's fault and not yours. And I feel like that's enough Am I the A-hole for today, guys. That was another beautiful episode, and I hope you had a wonderful time. But let's read some wholesome memes. Greatest moment of my career. A couple walked in at 8:55. We close at 9. They sit, I walk over to greet, and they ask me what time we close. Actually, we close at 9. You just made it in time. What can I get you started with to drink? Oh, no. You close in 5 minutes. Have a great night. And they got up and happily left. You guys are my heroes. Yeah, that is super considerate. Like, thank you. You don't realize how much this means to me. I think my Uber driver is flirting with me. Aw, so cute. They're so happy. That's such a beautiful picture. They're definitely getting 5 stars. Me after 2 push-ups. But it's okay because it's one more than yesterday. Yeah, 100%. You've got this. Keep up the good work. I really don't want to go tonight. Honey, why? I don't fit in with your friends from work. You'll be fine. Wear your blue suit. You always feel more comfortable in that. Gotta say, Frank, you are wearing the hell out of that suit. Oh, Frank. So cute. But yeah, they're dating or married to a horse. Okay. That's such a good comic. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did and you want to see more episodes like this, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Hantsuka. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that properly. The highlight of my day. Always looking forward to a new upload. Greetings from Finland, Vincey. Wow, you're in Finland and you're watching my videos? That's so incredible and mind-blowing at the same time. You're on the other side of the world watching Vincey videos? That's amazing. And yeah, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for the support, guys. guys, I've got another fun episode ready for tomorrow, and I hope to see you then. So make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!